Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Angela. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, good, good. Whereabouts are you dialing in from?
I'm dialing from Colombia, South America.
Amazing, amazing. I see you work for Coca-Cola.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. They're a former client of mine in the UK. I used to manage their IT accounts years ago when I worked with British Telecom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Small world. Fantastic, fantastic.
Yes, I'm dialing from very early in the morning today.
Yeah, it's about 1:30 here in mid-afternoon in the UK.
Okay, here's 7:39 a.m.
Okay.
Good morning.
Hi, Farah.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. So am I correct to say that it's morning for both of you?
It's early afternoon for me in the UK, Farah.
Oh, you are from the UK. Okay. And you're from Colombia, right, Angela?
From Colombia, yes, so it's early in the morning, 7:39 a.m.
Ah, okay. And let me see who's Rashmi. Hi, Rashmi.
Hi, Farah.
Hi. So I want to actually welcome both of you to the Women Economic Forum. Thank you so much for being part of this. It's an honor and a privilege for me to welcome both of you. And if you already know, we would have one speaker to go first. And I think it's Angela, you'll go first.
Okay.
And typically you will have about 12 minutes, and we'll wrap up in another minute and a half. And then we'll have Laura to come next. Would that work for you both?
That will be perfect.
Okay, and let me, so I want to just say a big hello. My name is Farah, and I'm based in the host city, Bangalore, in India, south of India, and I'm going to be moderating this session. So I just keep time and help you with any questions, and if you need anything, but really, if you'd like it to be an engaging conversation, I'm happy to actually be part of it. And of course, I'm just looking at Angela. Angela, I was looking at your profile, and I wanted to say that it's very inspiring to know all about the various roles that you have played. In fact, I was looking at starting as a news anchor, working as a college professor, and then really playing, the vice president in Coca-Cola. It must be a really interesting journey that you've had. So before we go ahead, let me check with Rashmi, because Rashmi, are you joining this session? Sorry.
No, I would be joining the next session, I think, from 6:30.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes,
Can I request
yes.
you to get your camera, or maybe
I'll
you
do
can
that.
mute your camera?
I'll do that.
Thank you.
I'll do
Oh,
that.
yes,
Yeah.
you're on the next one with Minku.
Yes, yes.
Ah, okay. Lovely to have you early. That's very
No
nice.
problem.
Stay on the call and enjoy the conversation. Thank you, Rashmi. So, Angela, I'm really looking forward to your conversation, because you're talking about adaptive leadership and the journey into the new system. So what is it that you want to actually share to everyone who's listening to you?
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you very much. Very happy to be here. Excited to be part of the World Women Economic Forum, the first digital one, and I'm sure will not be the only one, as this is part of a new way of working. And more than happy to say hello from Colombia, South America, to everybody who is attending. And also, thank you for inviting me. I love this topic. I think it's so relevant, especially at this point of time. And the first thing I want to talk about it was, what leadership for me and what has changed through this period of time and through this new social pandemic that we're living and we're going through, and that how that has changed my life, and not only personally but also professionally, in what I have learned so far. So first I would like to start talking about the leadership. And I know for everybody, I think we all, and I believe all of us have been leaders at some point of time in our families, in our communities, at work, with governments. And it is also, I also know that it's just not a domain of a few people with particular gifts. It's something like a musician. It's something like a doctor. They study, they practice, and we all have to do that. But being a leader is not easy because it comes with risk, especially when you confront new situations, especially when you have to ask the difficult questions, especially when you're leading through the unknown. And now, the times we're living in right now, I don't think any of us ever thought or were prepared to handle or being a leader at this point of time. Yeah. So the first thing for me was leading through the unknown. And I asked myself so many times, many questions in January, February, when this full pandemic actually hit Latin America, and said, you know, for all the decisions that I had to make, not only in terms of how to manage the teams, how to manage the business, what to do with clients, what to do with the innovations that we had on hand, what happened with the business plan, but also how to manage my family, my two kids, my two girls. So I always question myself of, is it going to work what I'm thinking? Do I have the full data to make decisions like this? Because this is an unprecedented times. Yeah. So it was a moment in a period of time where I actually felt uncomfortable being a leader, for not knowing for the first time and probably having the right answer, which you usually think you have the correct answer since you're the person to go to. True. So it was a very interesting point of time. But I have come so far, and I can tell you there are 5 things that I believe I have learned so far. And I'm not saying this will be it, as I consider this is an ongoing process. And the first one is unlearning. Yeah. And the unlearning process has been vital for me, for the people that surrounded me at work, for the people that surrounded me at my family, because I cannot be the same leader as I was before. I change, and now I'm not that present leader that I'm there all the time at work. I am an e-leader. I'm a leader over a computer. I'm a leader over the phone, and how you can mobilize people through the technology. I was not used to it. I thought I was used to it, but I am not, because I had to handle emotions with the teams. I had to handle emotions at work with colleagues. How do you do that when you used to be at the office and give a hug, go and take drink a cup of coffee, talk about problems, talk about issues, resolve issues? Now you don't. Now you have to deal with people's emotions, but also becoming a leader, a mom leader, which I was not used to homeschooling, teaching, going to my girl with 5 years old who just started, learning how to read and write. How do I do that as a mom, as a leader, but as a professional too? So the process of learning has not been easy, because my automated self says, do this, and do that. But now it's not just about doing, it's about how people's also feeling. So that process of learning was the first thing that I have learned so far. My second one, leading for the greater good. I have realized that we are so selfish. Yeah. And I was very selfish in the way I used to lead, because the leading process was about how do I take people from here to here with my vision of what I want them to accomplish. Now it's not that way. I used to say, hey, we're gonna go, we have to, sales have to be up to this, and this is our target, this is our high-end target, this is what we need to accomplish. So you have to do this, you have to travel to these countries, we're gonna launch this. It's not the same anymore, because I cannot just be thinking about what I want to accomplish from the business perspective. I need to make sure that we're going through the right path. And when I'm saying this, I cannot ask, for example, to do my commercial team, just go to see the clients. No, they have to take care of themselves. They have to stay at home. So the way it changes, the way it changes in the process of leading for the greater good is just not thinking about your business. It's also thinking about health of the people. It's thinking about the community. It's thinking about not only my employee, but their families, their kids. So it has changed a lot. They broadened the self and broaden the concept of leadership. That's what I'm saying, is leading for the greater good. It's not just about one piece of the equation. It's about the entire equation and how we can all grow sustainably. The other thing that I have learned is, we used to say doing the right thing. And that is not bad. Of course it is important, but now for me it's the right thing to do. Doing the right thing is tell the people you need to do this, go out, we're gonna sell this. The right thing to do might be, you know what, we're not gonna go out, we're not gonna launch this, or we're not gonna take so many people out and we're gonna alternate, or we're not going to the office and we're gonna work from home for the rest of the year. So it was just not a matter of what I think it was right, doing the right thing for the business, what is the right thing to do for the people first and then for the business. And that has changed a lot in terms of leadership to me. Um, the other part that I've learned, this is my fourth one, is we all change, and it's not about me, it's about we. And I see it, for example, with the girls at home and me being a full-time working mother, managing a business in 31 countries. I used to have my space. I used to go to the office, do my job, come back and be a full-time mother. Now I am a full-time worker, but I'm a full-time mother. So I need to understand that my girls want to come and ask me questions when I'm working, that they might need help when I'm working. So it's not about me, it's about we. Same thing happens with the people that work with me. They have families, they have kids, or they have dogs, they have cats. I mean, uh, it's the world change in that regards, and leadership change in that regards too. And the leadership concept, it was not just me, what I think I should be handled, is what we need to do, what we need to accomplish. The fifth one and the last one, it's maximize trust and minimize stress. Why? Because one of the things that I learned in this period of time is we're all very stressed out with the situation, not knowing what's going to happen tomorrow. Are we going to go on another strict curfew? Are you in a curfew? You cannot go and buy things at the supermarket. You need to be teaching your kids. So when I'm talking about maximize trust and minimize stress, it was what could I do, for example, with my teams to let them know that it's okay if they don't start at work or they're not sitting at a computer at 9 a.m. It is okay. Maybe you're a mother or you're a father need to help your kids early in the morning. So how you can become flexible on that and relieve that part of stress. For example, midday lunch. I kind of block my entire team at midday so everybody could have lunch and say we're not going to be allowed to have any meetings at that time because we need to sit with our families, have time with families. The same thing I did the first thing in the morning. I blocked that first hour for everyone. I said, it's up to you if you want to take it or not. But in my case, I felt that I need that time either to put my girls at homeschooling, to support them in connecting because they got disconnected, to support them on how to manage the things that they need to do early in the morning, or maybe just to myself to exercise, or maybe just to myself to organize my day. That kind of relief pressure from the teams. So how could I be a leader that will be more conscious about the new environment that we're living through? And that changed because of the beginning is, you know what, at the last year we all 9 a.m. in the morning at work, at the office, start meetings, and just like a robot. Now it changed everything. It changed everything.
Absolutely.
And I had to
Absolutely.
be side of that.
Absolutely, Angela. I'm listening to your 5 points and it's just resonating totally because you have shared clearly how the equation has changed completely today. And that's what it requires. And I love what you were saying that today you have to lead with your emotions. And how do you do that on, in a virtual platform? So, you have to shift your perspective of how you work. And of course, you brought in a very, very, very important thing of how we unlearn and how we actually maximize trust in this environment. And that's what's happening today. The leaders who are making a big difference are the ones who actually are focusing on these areas. So it's really brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. It looks like we're zooming and zipping past the
Yes.
time. So I do want to pause here and thank you for your time. And before sharing those 5 points has really helped all of us. So before I actually ask Laura to go next, I want to actually thank you for being here. As a token of our appreciation and love, we at the Women Economic Forum want to actually honor you with an award, which is the Iconic Leader, Creating a Better World for All. and you will get this in your mailbox very soon, within a week, I
Thank you
believe.
very much.
Angela, thank you so much for your insights. It was brilliant. I hope you're going
Thank
to
you very much.
stay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Looks like we have time for you now. In fact, I didn't get your profile, so I didn't know what to actually read a little bit about you. So I'm just open to ask you. Tell us a little bit about your what roles you're playing, and how do you want to bring this topic to life for our audience?
Lovely. So yeah, I'm not sure how the profile wasn't received, but certainly, yeah, my name's Laura Trendle Morrison.
Yeah.
I run the Game Changer Consultancy, and prior to that, I worked within IT and telecoms for 17 years for British Telecom, and actually chaired their women's network globally. So I've been working with leaders for a very, very long time, since 1997. I work with leaders in many different countries, so over 50 different nationalities. The last couple of years have seen me deliver in over 25 countries, with government institutions, with major brands, large businesses across a number of sectors. So leadership is one of those things that I think about a lot of the time. Adaptive leadership, particularly right now, so much of what Angela said was resonating for me as well, Farah. The reason I'm passionate about leadership is I believe that those of us that are brave enough to step into leadership are able to influence the future and the type of world that we have, and indeed the type of world that our children grow up in. I myself have 3 daughters, so also been juggling the challenges of homeschooling whilst working with clients, and I think brave leaders, particularly in times like now, are needed to step forward more than ever. And being a leader does not necessarily mean having a high position within an organization. Leadership is also about how we're affecting leadership within our communities. So I think it is something that is available to most people. And if I could just share, I think there are 10 things that for me in my travels globally working with different leaders, I think make the difference between good leadership and leadership that can make really game-changing jumps. So as we approach new challenges, we have the challenges of equality, the challenges of climate, of peace, of innovation. We need new breeds of leaders. And in these uncertain times, we need leaders that can inspire and engage other people, and that have bold, big visions for how we can better use resources, how we can better use collaboration. I think one of the things that I've observed as we've watched the impact of the pandemic globally is how quickly organizations were embracing collaboration, actually working with others through supply chain to come up with solutions to look at sharing and allocation of resources. So I think what we need to think about is, as humanity, we have choices to make. We've got course corrections, and much bigger course corrections as a result of the pandemic and the global economic fallout that has anticipated from that. And certainly, as we're seeing in the UK and probably seeing globally, that is having a greater impact on women in the workplace. So we need leaders that are prepared to think things through and look at new solutions. So we need to look at new models. How we solve this is developing great leaders of change and embracing leadership ourselves. So we need to think about our place of what is the legacy that we want to leave wherever we sit in an organisation or community. What is the legacy that we want to leave for our next generation? So the first step, as I say, collaboration, and making sure that we look at ecosystems, connections, and understand those. We have a very, very integrated world. We need to share resources, and that requires a greater need for dialogue, greater need for emotional intelligence in leadership. The other things I think are essential, number one, is to have vision, to be absolutely clear on what we're trying to achieve in the purpose of the community or organisation that we're leading and operating in. To have direction, to be able to have clarity in our communications and to share that roadmap and that journey with others as we inspire them to join us, to take action, to have purpose, to absolutely know why we are acting and taking the steps that we are taking, and why we want our team to follow us. So really interrogating what is the change that we want to make. Honesty, we've got to have that openness, that trust, I think, as you mentioned, Farah, with others, and to lead with integrity. So we have to know when it is our duty to lead, but also we have to know when it is the right time to call others forward to lead. Maybe it's because they have specialisms, skill sets and ability that perhaps we lack. So that requires humility, which I'll talk about later. Communication, the ability to articulate and express our thoughts and ideas, and more importantly, to be able to listen to, understand others, and to really feel empathy. So humility, this is unanimous in every leadership session that I facilitate with senior teams. The leaders we find inspire us most in these discussions, the ones that we learn from, the ones that we'll follow whether they're well known or not, the ones we'll give our best for have one essential quality, and that is humility. They are led by service to others, service to greater goals, and service to a greater good being pursued. So not for praise, not for recognition, not for reward, but by the desire to do the right thing, which I think, again, connects very strongly with Angela's message. Ethics. Good leaders have great ethics, a strong moral code, which is an essential in leadership. So understanding justice, accountability, truthfulness and fairness. And if we have leaders that don't have this standard of ethics, we can see that leadership can be misdirected. It can become about use of power and cause harm rather than positive outcomes. Compassion. And I think a beautiful example of this, as we've gone through, is when we look at the leadership of people like Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand. So the ability to hold that empathy with others and to push through discomfort, difficult situations, but to do that with great sensitivity in the pursuit of achieving bigger aims. Connection, looking for what we share, what we all hold in common. And right now we've seen that globally. Everybody has this common desire that we all come through this and that everybody, you know, is able to thrive again in the future. So having that shared sense of purpose. And finally, courage. And I love the word courage, to speak one's mind by telling all in one's heart. So a leader cannot just be logic-led, looking at the data and the systems. It's also got to engage the heart and engage the hearts of others, not just the mind. So finally, I think we should absolutely lead with love. And I would like to finish there. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Laura. You talked about 10 really essential ingredients, and that whole path of leading our teams using these 10 elements, and resonates with what Angela said as well, leading from your heart, and compassion, empathy. And one word that really is very, very close to my heart is being brave and being courageous, and you use that. And that's another session I'm going to lead tomorrow. I'd love you to be a part of it. It's called having courage to soar. So thank you for sharing that, and for sharing, you know, both of you have come in and shared such incredible insights about this topic. And before we wrap this up, Laura, I do want to thank you for adding so much value to our global community. And as a token of our love and appreciation for your time and for your insights, we would like to honor you with an award from the Women Economic Forum, which is the Iconic Leader, Iconic Woman Creating a Better World for All. So thank you so much, both of you. It's been a pleasure actually talking to both and hearing these beautiful insights about adaptive leadership today in the world that we're living in today. Thank you. Thank you again. And I'm going to get the other speakers on. They're waiting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a fabulous day.
Have a beautiful time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You too.
Hey, Minku and Rashmi, welcome. Thank you for waiting in line. Rashmi, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that you had come in early, so I do apologize. I had a second moderator who came, so I completely lost track of.
Yeah.
All right.
Hello.
So
Thank you, Farah and Rashmi. Hello.
Hi, Minku.
I'm just going to take 30 seconds to take a deep breath.
Sure, definitely.
And I just want to, first of all, thank both of you for leading a topic that is so exciting, the power of thoughts. And I thought I should bring this little magic lamp here so I can rub it and get some great insights from you. But I'm sure you're going to do that for all of us. So thank you again. I'd like to welcome you. It's an honor and pleasure to have Minku, my close friend, someone I truly adore. And Rashmi, it's been a pleasure to actually have you on this session. So you have both, as you know, about 12 minutes each. And Rashmi, you can get started. And then I will hand it over to Minku.
Thank you so much.
So thank you so much. And Rashmi, I just want to pause here. I was looking at your profile. Just give me a minute.
Sure.
Just give me 1 minute.
You know, Rashmi, I hope you have the magic lamp, because I tried to look for one that looked Sindbadish, and then I ended up just doing the gypsy look, because
knowing Minku, she will actually
get into the spirit.
Yes.
You know, I have always loved the magic lamp and genie, but I don't have anything to show today.
You're going to create the magic with your conversation. So I'd like to welcome you, Rashmi. Rashmi Furtado, for our audience, is the co-founder and senior editor of the Teacher.in. And I find that when I read your profile, I'm so inspired by the passion you bring to education and children. And the fact that you have so many facets and so many hats that you wear. You're an author, you're a poet, you're a writer, and I don't want to take any time from you. I'd love to hear from you about the power of thoughts, and take it away and inspire us with your thinking around this.
Thank you so much, Farah. First of all, it's lovely to be on a platform like this. I mean, I think Women Economic Forum is doing a wonderful job by taking this to a digital forum this time and not letting it go. I think that's really great. And I'm really feeling honored to be a part of a platform like this and listening to so many wonderful stories of so many women and men. It's been a very wonderful journey so far. Well, I really love this topic. It's very close to my heart. And as I mulled over this topic, two other women came into my mind. One is none other than Miss Bachendri Pal, India's first woman to conquer the Mount Everest. And I had an opportunity to interact with her. And she spoke to me about her journey and the experience she told me about. It was wonderful. Imagine India back in the 1950s, 1960s, and a small village back then. And a young girl back then suddenly having a thought saying, I want to conquer the Mount Everest. And she starts jogging around the village while the people there are looking at her, staring at her, and wondering, what is this girl doing running around the entire village? And then she packs her backpack with heavy rocks and climbs up and down the mountain behind her house multiple times a day just to train herself. And people are wondering, these are not the things a girl should be doing. This is something that a boy should be doing. What is she doing all of these things? And then none of that stopped her from achieving what she wanted to do with her life. The second woman that I think about is this young girl called Miss Tanvi Jagdish. Some of you may know her, some of you may not. She's India's first woman stand-up paddler, professional stand-up paddler. While stand-up paddling is actually not a known sport in India, she's the first one who's doing it professionally, and she is just 20. Well, at the age at which she's achieved this, it's amazing. And she, of course, started at a very young age. She was, I think, about 9 or 10 when she started surfing. And she too went through the same thing as what Ms. Pal did that many years ago. She was also told similar things. You're a girl. What are you doing in a sport like this? Your skin is getting tanned. Your hair is losing its beauty. None of that mattered to her because her thought of conquering the ocean, that was most important to her. My story is somewhat a little similar. I come from a very small town from the southern coast called Mulki. It's a very romantic and beautiful city. I'm not sure you'll find it on the map either, but it's a beautiful small town. And I passed out of an NIT. I secured a job at a public sector giant of our country. But I had different choices. I chose not to take that up. And that choice that I made back then and the conviction that I had towards the passion was so strong that today I am India's only professional woman quiz host. There's nobody else in the country who's doing it professionally. And I cannot understand this. I do not understand why something like this is happening. And one of the reasons that I think that I could figure was that people do not understand and people don't know that there is a genie within them. All of us have a voice within us. All of us have a genie within us. We always try to quiet it down. We try to push it away. We don't do what our voice tells us. We don't do what our genie within wants us to do. So I picked out 5 to 6 points that is very important to make sure your thought becomes a reality. The first one, passion. And for all of this to work out, of course, you need to treat your genie like a separate person. Your genie within you is a separate person. So what you need to do is, first of all, and this is what I do. So first of all, you need to support your genie with the passion that the genie has. Support the genie's passion. That's very important. You're the only person who can support your genie 100%. And you're the only person who can do it best. The next one is self-belief. Believe in your genie. Don't have that ounce of doubt. That can do very bad things for you. So have the belief in your genie. Third, visualize. Now, because I visualized myself to be on that stage in a hall overflowing with audience is why I am there today. It is because Tanvi visualized herself conquering the ocean, the vast ocean out there. That is why she is what she is today. It is only because Ms. Bachendri Pal visualized herself on the summit of Mount Everest is why she's the first Indian woman to do that. Visualizing is extremely important and we have to help our genie visualize. The next one is decision. We are very bad at this. Decision making when it comes to what we want to do, we are very bad at this. And when it comes to our genie, we are the best at procrastinating. I do not know why that happens and that's the worst thing you can do to yourself. Do not procrastinate. Take the step. There is a very nice quote. The best day is today and the best time is now. Take the step, do it now. Support your genie, go ahead, move forward. And that takes me to my next point, focus forward. So always make sure you focus forward, help your genie focus forward. There'll be tons of distractions, that's bound to happen, but you need to make sure your genie is back on track. Make sure you're focusing forward, always, very important. The last point, hard work. Back all of this with hard work. That's extremely, extremely important. Tanvi used to practice breathing. Tanvi would pick weights and go under the swimming pool and stay there as much as possible to make sure her breathing capability increased and the breathing capacity increased. I have had days where I'm working continuously for 16, 18 hours. I get 4 hours of sleep, travel to the next destination, and then I'm on stage again. I can't take the fatigue back on stage because it's not fair to the audience. So put in that amount of hard work. And believe me, the output and the result that comes out after that, everything that you do is worth it. What we need to remember in all of this is that it's a thought that leads to the passion. It's a thought that leads to self-belief. It's a thought that leads to visualization, a thought that fuels decision, a thought that makes you focus forward, and a thought that pushes you to work hard. We need to understand the power of thoughts, and we need to make sure we fuel the genie within us with our thoughts. That's extremely important. Lastly, there's a quote by Confucius. He says, "Your life is what your thoughts make it." And I completely agree with that. Completely agree with that. Our thoughts are so powerful. We think positive, we'll definitely have prosperity in our life. we think negative, I mean, all of us know where it can lead us. And even in, I mean, people might argue saying, yes, it's possible in an environment where we are not in a pandemic and stuck at home. Not at all. Even by staying at home, you can do many things and you can stay positive, and the power of thoughts will get you through a difficult time like this too.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Rashmi. In fact, this power of thoughts is really fueling me to just think of everything that I'm doing today. You know, what has my thoughts led me to achieve today, and what are we doing as a community to bring this beautiful digital forum? And I'm sure Minku is waiting to share her thoughts. But thank you for inspiring us with those 2 stories, and then
thank you so much.
Yours, and sharing those 6 key factors of bringing the genie outside, or helping the genie grow. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
and before I wrap up, I would like to share that as a token of our appreciation from the Women Economic Forum, and for all that you're bringing to our global community. We'd like to honor you with an award, which is the Iconic Woman, creating a better world for all. So congratulations.
Thank you so much, Farah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Minku, thank you for your patience. I know we're rushing. I'm sorry, Rashmi, I had to rush you like that to wrap it up. Minku, thank you so much for being here. I would like to ask you, would you like me to give an introduction, or would you, because you have, you want to use the time, do you want to do that? Just get started. Would you like
yes, I think so. I'll just very briefly loop what I have to say. Rashmi, I absolutely appreciate a lot of points taking up from that. I have grown up and I have brought up my kids, and that's how I grew up. There's one statement that is my mantra, and I'm taking this up from you. A decision made is a decision made. I live with that. That once you have made up your decision, and my inspiration, unlike yours, is a very older person. My inspiration is not 20 years old. My inspiration is 100 years old, Phyllis Crystal, who was packing her bag and coming to India. I've met her twice, and I am a transformation facilitator. I'm a keynote speaker. I'm a moderator on international radios, as well as an energy healer. So Phyllis Crystal taught us the ties that bind. And she was 100, she packed her own bags and she came, and we were like, wow, this is how we need to grow old, with a focus and a purpose. So I'm going to take this power of thoughts, Farah and Rashmi, in a very different way. For me, I grew up with fairy tales. Because I don't know if you remember your favorite ones when you were growing up, but for me, it was not ever once upon a time. For me, it literally translates into once upon a time there was an inspiration. So okay. I've always been inspired, and you know, we all have our own dragons. We lose, we feel fear, anxiety, insecurity, especially in today's times. And I feel it's through the fairy tales, and I don't care who, you know, there are people who scoff over it. Fairy tales, you know, but I feel it takes you out of your gloom, even today as an adult. You know, all you have to do is read a beautiful story. It radiates positivity, love, hope, kindness. So I actually identified my genie very early in life. Right. For me, everything, take, for example, Peter Pan, it was all about life needs to be a big adventure. Or if I took, say, for example, the Cinderella, for me, it was the story of hope. So what has it taught me as I was growing up, and how am I coming and saying that I can talk about the power of thoughts? I just want to connect, you know, how it was for me. It taught me that if you do the right thing, it is the right thing. It taught me that it's okay if we are not perfect. I think the world needs to hear that. This feeling of I'm not good enough is surfacing again and again. I always believed there was goodness in the world, and it showed me a difference between just living and being alive. Can you relate to that? There's a difference in that. So I would say that story of Aladdin and its genie and the lamp is my favorite. And my mother used it to control our thoughts. the power of thoughts. And she would say, you know, if the genie could obediently return to the itsy bitsy place for 10,000 years, you can stop doing what you're doing every time we were naughty and disobedient. So it really worked well with me. So now I feel I just want you and all our beautiful listeners out there all over the globe, just think that your mind is actually a monkey. Okay, what does a monkey do? It swings tree to tree. And if you allowed your mind to be a monkey, your thoughts would swindle treetop. So I picked up this topic because I feel that we would, if we allowed our mind to control the power of thoughts, we would always, there would be no reasoning. Our reasonings would be so jumbled, right? There would be no steadfastness in our thought processes. Gratitude, forgiveness. Farah, I listened partially to your topic before, and you know, good leadership is about courage. It's about connections. It's about compassion, kindness. And I feel like if you did not stay in the present, we would even lose out on good leadership. You agree? That the power of thoughts is everything. So I just want to share with my listeners and both of you that humor me and stay with this thought that the Aladdin is, say, for example, our conscious mind. Now, I'm in this space of transformation, so I will approach it like that. Now, it's a mental prison, our conscious mind. We unknowingly create very berserk and negative toxic thoughts, right? The cave, I thought, is like the maze. We are booby trapped in the worst thoughts and situations. Now the genie is our subconscious mind, and we can use that to represent the true self that we are. And the sorcerer in the story, which is represented by Aladdin's uncle, right? It is when we start to subscribe to the world, right? The world, the society starts to define who we are. And when we do that, we can never be in touch with our true magic, right? We have to take the power back. And of course, the rubbing of the lamp, you could say, is the prayers, the meditations, the power of now. Okay, so I would say you have to rub the magic lamp to bring the genie out, the magic. I would say the thoughts are, could I say they are our creative imagination. They are the intelligent utilization of our mind and thoughts. So have you ever used a magnifying glass to burn a piece of paper? Okay, but you've seen it in experiments, right? What exactly is happening? The magnifying glass is focusing the energy of the sun to a certain piece of spot that starts burning. That is the power of thoughts. That's the power of focus of thoughts, right? So I would say, imagine that the genie is your thoughts and your mind is the lamp. And imagine if your mind said to you that, hey, you know what, use me correctly and I will grant you not 3, but as many wishes as you want. And how does it feel? Just thinking about that, right? I can see a big smile. So I am just going to very quickly wrap this up in my thought process of what I've learned, what I do with all my clients. I work a lot one-on-one. I would say focus is the first thing I would say if you want to harness powerful thoughts. Focus. See, what is words? Words are just energy, right? And you can manifest what you want at a very high level. I'll give you a short example, a real life example that probably Farah knows, and this is to share with Rashmi and all. I am working one-on-one with a Nigerian woman who is, coincidentally, her name is Joy, and I'm a joy advocate as well. So, and it took her only 3 weeks. We did a little bit of a mind shift from her negativity, her toxic thoughts, and we created her frequency to a very high grid, okay? And we used the vision board, the Halsey manifesto, and a lot of other tools. But in 3 weeks, she had managed to get the house she had in her dreams. This is the power of thoughts. And I have a testimony from her thanking me for that. The second thing that you can do is be aware and be very, very mindful of your thoughts. For example, a lot of people don't understand happiness is so much more energetic than sadness. I mean, it's a no-brainer, but people keep getting caught in that sadness. Walking is more energetic than sitting. So even if you kept walking, you create the right energy, smiling. And I mean, in my worst things, I sit and I just smile to myself, and it just changes when I'm feeling a little down. So people can do that. It really works. And then passion is more energetic than feeling apathy. So you see how the system works. The other thing that I want to say is never think a thing you don't want to happen. Never think a thing that you don't want to happen, because instead change your vocabulary. Think of how intelligent you are, and you will be. Think of how beautiful you are. I know someone who looks at the mirror every morning and says, oh my God, you're the most beautiful thing. I don't do it. Okay, it's not me.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it really works. It really works. All your wrinkles and what have you, and pigmentation, everything disappears. And so if you feel you're loved, if you feel you're good enough, it will happen. The fourth one that I want to, before I finish this, is going to be beautiful. What if I can tell you today that you can choose and install a new belief system right now, today, in this moment, that you are the master of your own thoughts, right? And you are not predetermined by who your genes, people who claim that, oh, you are your preconditioned beliefs. So just breathing, just saying that gives me a really, really good sense. It's making me feel good. I don't know about you too and the listeners, but just say that I'm the master of my own thoughts. This belief that you are not, it weighs you down. So just drop it, I will finish by saying, you are the problem and you are the solution. And you must reclaim this lamp, girls, and all you beautiful listeners out there, reclaim it. Is your conscious and your subconscious mind, and your wishes will be granted. So I ask you all today, if your genie was to be released, what is the 3 wishes that you would ask? Remember, your wishes, your manifestation depends on your thoughts and purpose. And in spite of all those, if you still feel a little havoc, I'm just a call away. So I just finished with that. Those are my thoughts on the power of thoughts.
Thank you, Minku. And I'm just listening to you and I'm thinking about the power of, when you started about the monkey mind, the choices that we have. And it's all about choice. And I'm listening to what Rashmi said. It's really about bringing that conviction that you can do it. And those 6 steps that you talked about, how you need to support that genie inside of you. So both of you brought out the genie and the power of thoughts. And Minku, I really liked another thing that you just said, that it all starts in your body as well. So I can change how I'm feeling by just shifting something in my body, the way I smile and the way I stand, etc. So thank you for bringing so many beautiful things here. I must say, I'm left inspired. I feel so powerful right now. I'm serious. I'm just thinking that while I truly believe in this, you've made me have more belief in myself. Like I can climb Mount Everest.
Farah, you have walked on this path. In fact, I'm inspired by what you have to say, and I'm inspired by Rashmi. And when you say that you can sprout wings and have the courage to soar, Farah, which is your beautiful mantra, I think it's beautiful. And I love, Rashmi, your real life inspiration. Stay blessed. And so nice to have met you on this forum. Let's catch up
so
offline as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Any Q&As, anything coming up, Farah?
So I don't see any questions here.
Okay.
And so First of all, to the only quiz master, thank you for being here.
Thank you,
And
Farah.
Minku for being, you know, a joy advocate and for making such a difference to everyone's lives. I've been touched by it. Thank you again. And as a token of our appreciation, I'm actually really, so Minku is a close friend, so I'm really happy to share with you that we would like to honor you with the iconic women creating a better world for all. Thank you, Minku.
Oh,
And
thank you. That so beautifully aligns, Farah, with my why in life, and it touches me to the core to be acknowledged for that.
absolutely.
I now need to, before I get tearful, take my glasses off, because seriously, it so beautifully aligns to my why. You know that I was a established fashion designer with my own brand, and now I've made this conscious shift to be on a helping people embrace joy and sparkle in their lives, relationships, in whatever they do.
Thank you so much, Minku. And thank you, Rashmi. We have maybe 30 seconds to leave this room. Thank you again. It was a pleasure.
Beautiful.
Pleasure moderating this conversation.
Thank you so much, Farah. Thank you, Minku. We'll stay in touch.
Rashmi, let's reach out to each other. Yes. Farah, much love to you as always. Love you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Rashmi. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.